fighting mosquitoes and watering the garden. Figured I'd go live just to get some more of the watch hours. We're getting so close to having the watch hours, so. Yeah, how's everybody going? Let's see. How's the garden doing? I've actually got some radishes and other stuff like that. Carrots, beets that are just starting to pop up. Yeah, skeeters are bad. And they're not even that bad over here, but out there in the grass, they're pretty awful. Just came in from doing the same thing on a much smaller scale. Yeah. Anything popping up? Yeah, so like I said, I got my radishes, carrots, beets. I think turnips were starting to pop up. And then I've got some other stuff out here. I still haven't watered all this yet. I've got to see what else is starting to pop up. Hello. Yeah, so I figured while I was doing it, I'd set up and go live to get some more of the watch hours. We're so close. We got to have the 4,000 watch hours, and we're at, was it like 35, 40? So. Yeah, I pretty much finished chicken run. I've still got to build a door for it. And I'm putting hardware cloth around the bottom of it and turning it out about a foot and burying it. That way predators can't dig under. But the mosquitoes are so bad out there right now. I took a break from it. I'm going to build the door. I've got a couple other projects I want to do. And I'll build the door out of the scrap material when I build it. I don't want to use full sticks of lumber, and then if I don't have enough, then I will mill some up with a sawmill. How long the mosquitoes will last? I don't know. Too long. Yeah, they're pretty bad. Let's see. You can see there's some radishes and stuff popping up right there. All the way down through there. I don't know if y'all can see them or not, but tell you what though, it's definitely nice having a lake to water with. Hello. So I went and watered the greenhouse already a while ago. I needed to do this yesterday. Some of the stuff that I had growing inside is looking rough out here. I needed to water it yesterday and I completely forgot all about it. Yeah, the watch hours, so yeah, hopefully I can get some fruit trees. The watch hours, I was at, we got to get 4,000. We hit 3,000, but all that did was unlock like Super Chat, um, which is a subscription thing people pay for, and you get proceeds from it, and it like brings your comments up to the top or something. I'm not 100% sure on what all it does, but at 4,000 hours you get fully monetized, and we last night I looked and we was at 3540. So we got to get to 4,000. So about 450 more. That's why I'm on here today. How's everybody else? Everybody's doing good. We got a whole chicken going in the sun oven, and Letitia's inside doing some sewing. Yeah, I mean, luckily, I got the lake for the water, but I mean, I do have to run the generator for the pump, so I got a small generator down there at the lake. I fire it up. What's happening in the garden? Any growth? And do you have to water daily? So I haven't been watering daily. We had a good bit of rain, and I haven't watered it in a few days. I should have the last probably 2 days, but I keep forgetting about it. So I finished fooling with the chicken run, and I went inside, ate lunch, and I came back out and fooled around a little bit with some other stuff, and then I walked over this way and remembered that I needed to water the garden. So Figured I'd come on out and get it done. So in the greenhouse, I've got some tomatoes and peppers that we had um, started inside, but they didn't do much of anything inside. But that greenhouse stays nice and hot, so I'm hoping that they pop and start doing a little something. I figured I'd go ahead and plant them. We had them, and figured I'd give it a shot and see what happens. Will your arms not get bug bite? Yeah, they will. But I sprayed some of that homemade stuff, the homemade repellent that we have on me, and it keeps them away. They swarm around me, but they haven't been biting me too bad. A sprinkler on my wish list, yeah. But I like coming out here too. It's nice, it's quiet, peaceful. I like being in the garden, but I prefer it to be growing, not dying. Because like all of my zucchini and everything else that I had, it that I had started inside has pretty much died. Um, so we'll see. I planted some more. We'll see if they pop up. I mean, some of them look like they may make it, and then others of them are completely wilted and pretty much gone. Yeah, the rest of the yard's pretty much dried up. Um, it's there's still a couple spots that are a little squishy, but I mean, there's not standing water. It's just a couple little spots here and there. think after I get done in the garden here, I'm gonna get the battery back in the tractor. I took the battery out of the tractor yesterday to put in the boat. But I get the battery back in the tractor, and I want to pull me out some more logs and get them cut and barked. Get the bark peeled off out of the way and go ahead and get my post cut for the sawmill. That's going to be my next project. I got to get all that gas off the dock down there too, but I put in zucchini last week from seed. Didn't have luck last year. Lots of flowers, but no zucchini. Yeah, I'm afraid that I can see some starting to pop up, but out here you don't really have enough time to grow zucchini from seed. So you've got to start them indoors. And the ones I started indoors died when I set them out. So we will see. I planted a lot of stuff that they say you can't grow without starting it indoors, because I just want to see how far it does get, so I know for next year. I keep a journal on it, and that way I know how far it does get, and maybe next year, now that I got the greenhouse up, I can use the greenhouse and get everything started in it a lot earlier. Now we have to clear the land next year to no, I'm actually, before the end of summer, I'm going to try to get the entire property graded off so that it all slopes and the water runs off, so that we don't have the issue with the standing water. And like the garden area, I will also I'm going to have the tractor out and try to keep a lot of the snow off of it and keep it cut down as much as I can, and see if that helps, because then I can get my garden started and plowed up a lot earlier too, because we had several weeks of nice weather that I could have already planted my garden if I could have gotten access to it, but the tractor is not four-wheel drive, so I can't. It don't run good in the snow. Let's see. I'm in Northern Ontario, so we do have a huge garden season there. Probably longer than Alaska, yeah. I got cherry tomatoes ripening. My onion sets are growing good. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping that my tomatoes, like I said, they did not do very good at all. All I had to plant them in was styrofoam cups, and I think it restricted the roots a little too much, and they didn't want to do very well. I mean, they were literally like this tall. When I'm done here, I can take you up and show you. Yeah, that's the one thing I miss about North Carolina and South Carolina, especially South Carolina. North Carolina, we lived up on the mountain, and it was a little more difficult. Growing season was a little shorter. We had a lot colder weather up there than we did just 2 hours away. I mean, it was a day and night difference. But here, this is going to be a major learning curve. But so I want to keep good notes and keep everything figured out and try different things and just see how it goes. Bad thing is I don't remember where I planted a lot of stuff because um, I was out here and I had drew a garden map, and as I was planning, I was keeping up with it, and then it started raining, and I got muddy, and the little map got destroyed pretty much. So I did keep track of like the different types of zucchini and squash and all that I did plant so that, hopefully I can determine what did good once it starts coming up. Once it starts coming up, I'm going to redo my map and write where everything goes. Here's a chicken laying an egg. You see the shade right here in this area. I got two bunches of old scraggly trees I got to take down that were growing up from, like, they had cut trees down. There's stumps there and they started growing out, but they've already gotten, I don't know, probably around 6 to 8 inches around. But I gotta cut those down. Fun times trying to figure out what is weed and what's veggies. You know, enjoying the eggs. Yeah, we're loving the eggs. I'm not too concerned about the weed and veggies. I've been doing this long enough. I pretty much know what all of them look like as they're sprouting. Um, I've gardened my entire life, so I mean, can't really tell from this garden because I didn't put a lot of effort into it as far as laying off the rows and all this other stuff, and making my mounds and everything for the different plants. I mean, I did own some, but I just felt so rushed because I felt like I was getting such a late start. By the time I got it in the ground, back home, my family's already harvesting vegetables. Yeah, we do have some cardboard egg cartons. And I did plant in those, and everything I planted in there, nothing grew. Not a single thing. We used toilet paper rolls to start in. Those worked really good, especially with my corn and everything. But I didn't harden off my stuff before I brought it out. And we had a couple of cold nights, and the corn is looking pretty shabby too. Yeah, mosquitoes are relentless out here. And they're not even that bad today. Give me a second. Pull all this hose out. Go down to the other side. Do you feel like it would be better to just plant the seeds in the ground next time? Mine are doing better that way than plants. The problem is we don't have a long enough growing season here. Half of the crops would never fully develop and harvest because growing season's so short. I mean, a lot of people, they start planting their crops indoors like first week of February, or first week of February. So you really gotta get an early start on it. I used to have full bug. Hold on a minute. Apparently I've sprayed water all over my phone. I can't read the comments. There's water droplets everywhere. Okay. I used to have a full bug shirt with head netting I'd use when cutting grass at my cottage. Like flies were, yeah. All the insects out here are miserable. I guess that's why everybody likes winter. I mean, once they go away, it won't be bad, but you know, if you're out on the lake, get out in the middle of the lake, they're not too bad. Yesterday we was out there, and I mean, there was very few that were bothering us laying out on the float. I want to get down there and do some fishing too. Only problem is now Kira has no desire to fish because she wants to swim every time we go down there. When it was too cold, she wanted to fish all the time. We lived in Alaska. We had a mosquito magnet. It helped a ton. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was actually looking at them last night on Amazon, and I was curious if they worked or not. See these little things? They're annoying. Like I said, they're not nearly as bad as they were 4 years ago. I came out in July, and oh, they were bad. I mean, the area that I was in, apparently that was the peak. Because there was just, you would have thousands of them on you. Hey, Richard, working in the garden? Yep. Trying to get it watered. They make being outside miserable. Yeah, they do. especially when you've got stuff you've got to get done. I mean, I had to get that chicken coop done. I had to finish it up this morning, and they were bad this morning. But then again, up there in the grass, they're bad probably right now too. But down here, they're not nearly as bad as they were up there. Hoping my potatoes pop up shortly. I want to see them start coming up. We eat a lot of potatoes, so definitely need them to grow. The potatoes out here do really good. Yeah, that one's inside. It snuck in. Got a nice sized garden. Hope it brings family abundance. I hope so too. We definitely been praying about it. I need it to pop and just take off. But like I said, I wasn't expecting too much this first year, just because of the learning curve, getting everything established so late, getting a garden area established, because there's never been a garden here. So, but I was amazed when I plowed everything up at the dark soil and how fertile it was. Our neighbors out here say that they do really good on their garden. And some of our other friends that are just 12 miles away, they say theirs does really bad. They have to amend their garden soil a lot. They've been working on it for several years, and last year was their first decent garden. So we'll see what does good and what don't, and I'll figure out what I need to do. But this garden here is 50 foot wide by 150 foot long. And then I got the greenhouse, which is 12 by 20. And then I was going to plow an area up over there, probably about 30 feet by 60 feet, and just plant flowers, perennials. Have a nice little flower patch out there. I want to get it established real good, because next year we're wanting to do bees. So I want to get them growing so they keep coming back every year. And I planted some flowers back there also at the end of the garden. And I've still got a section there about 20 20 by 30, I think. 30 by 30 that I haven't planted anything. Might need to get a soil sample. Just see what the garden needs. Yeah, I was planning on doing that at the end of the year. When I put the garden away, I was going to do a soil sample to take with me when I go into town and have it tested. I mean, not really a lot I can do right now. I don't have anything to put on it. We've got the chickens now, so we will have a nice compost pile going. I mean, you can see all of this back here, the pile, and it's all over there, it's all over here. That's just the grass that I scraped up off this garden area. So here in the next year or two, that'll be some good compost too. I think that's my potatoes popping up. Looks like it. It's good. We got 1, 2, 3 different variety of potatoes planted out here. I don't know what they are. The neighbor had extra and gave to us. Gave us probably about 10 pounds to plant. There was some white potatoes, some gold potatoes, and then the purple potatoes. But I'm not sure what the names of them. I think the golds were Yukon golds, but I'm not sure what the white potato and the name of the purple potato was. But apparently they do good out here. Oh, it's coming off from the hat. Hey, maybe that's how that mosquito got in there. Yeah, we got some hats that the net's attached to, and then we have these hats with a net that goes over it. And then we've got some nets that you can wear over like a ball cap or whatever. I like this one best because the top is vented and it's double layered so they can't bite you through it. The ones that have the net attached to them is just a single layer of netting just like this, so it sits on your head and the mosquitoes bite you right through it. Hello. Yeah, I'm sad. Like I said, my zucchini didn't do too good, and my cucumbers are not doing good. So I replanted by seed. I'm hoping they do really good. So we'll see. I'm hoping some of these cucumbers and zucchini come back to life, but I don't know that they're going to. And then my artichokes all died. But next year I'm gonna have pots to plant everything in when we start them inside. That way they have plenty of room for growth. And that way I'm not restricting myself. But this year we ran out of time in the winter, wasn't able to get all the stuff that we needed, and doing good. Trying to get the garden watered, so hopefully I don't lose everything. Once stuff start popping up, I know where to water. I have a general area. I have footprints. When I would come out here and lay my rows off, I would walk down the areas back and forth between where I seeded, so I would know a general area where they're at. But if plants will start popping up, it make watering it a whole lot easier, because then I ain't got to water everything. Right now I'm wasting a lot of water. Good thing I ain't got to pay for it. Well, I guess I do. I'm paying for the gas in the generator to run the pump. But it's one of those little Honda 2200 generators. 1 gallon of gas will run for 8 hours or so, 8 to 10 hours. So it ain't too bad. Poke sticks in the garden when crops start pop up at each end of the row. So I know where my rows are. I just don't remember like what I planted on them. So like if I planted cucumber or some sort of vining plant, they're going to be, 3 to 5 foot apart, depending on the plant. And like my potatoes are 12 inches to 18 inches. So, I mean, I pretty much know where my rows are. And I have 4 rows that go full length this way. And then everything else turns and goes the other way. And I have stakes on those 4 because I first started like I said, when I first started, that was my intent. I was going to do that. And then as I was planning, it started raining and I had to get it done. I mean, it took me 2 days out here fooling with the garden, 3 days actually. And because I had 40 hours in 3 days doing the garden, but I had to get it done, and it was supposed to rain for 3 days. So I just sucked it up and planted in the rain. Yeah, could do a stick and plant and do whatever's there. Like I said, I had a whole map drawn out of how I was going to plant the garden, and then I was planning it and writing down where everything was, and then it started raining, and I tried to keep up with it, and it was pretty much a waste because it rained so hard it got my paper wet, and then my hands were all nasty and muddy, and got the map all muddy, and so I was like, forget it. I'll just plant, and I can pretty much know a general idea of what's where. I always try to plant my crops pretty much the same, so that, for sunlight and, what helps each other grow. I didn't do Three Sisters this year with the squash and the corn and the beans, but other than that, I try to plant crops near each other that need what the other crop puts off. But I didn't have any vining beans, so I mean I could have done some bush beans, but it don't do as good. Okay. I'm going to unhook this one hose, leave it here, because I don't need all the hoses back to the house. I have a bucket up here at the greenhouse. I want to fill up so that I have some water up here. Give me just 1 second. Got another bucket over here I want to grab and fill up. I'm actually gonna spray everything in here. I went down through there and watered each plant, but this is killing a little more. Keep it a little moist in here. Okay. Where's Kira? Kira's inside. The mosquitoes were too bad out here for her. She came out here for a little bit and they were getting her pretty good. So she's back in. Drag my hose back over here. I think Letitia's going to do some laundry today or tomorrow. So I will have to fill up the water tank. I need to ask her if she's going to do it today. If so, I need to go ahead and do the water. Go, Willa. Go. Hey, are you going to do laundry today?
Are you live?
I can, but I don't know how I'm going to get it hung.
Hush.
Mosquitoes are so bad.
Oh, shut up.
I mean, I guess it's so warm in the house. I'm hanging laundry up in the house. It's taking long to dry.
I was just wondering if you're not, and wait till tomorrow. Okay.
Well, both.
Oh, Kira.
All right. So she is going to do laundry tomorrow. So I will wait and fill it up tomorrow. That way I ain't got to just rig it up because I pulled the hose back out from the house, from that room when we sealed up all the holes for the mosquitoes. So now I got to get down here to the lake and turn off the pump. Yeah, Bo don't like the mosquito net. Yeah, I will take the greenhouse down. I'll leave the frame up and just take the cover off of it. There's a little Honda generator. So, see the hose run here, and right down there is my pump. Took 2 buckets, zip tied them together, drilled a bunch of holes in it, wrapped a screen around it, and I got a well pump in there. And that is how I get my water. Way easier than hauling it in 5-gallon buckets. Yeah, that hill has grown up a lot. I got to get out here with a weed eater and cut it all back. At least clear it up a little bit. See, I need to be in the boat right now. Or that one. I need to be out there fishing. Kira's wanting to come down and go swimming. Yeah. See how clear the water is? You can see the bottom. You can see the rocks and everything else. Somebody was asking why it was so black. I think it's just the color of the bottom. Because the water itself is very clear. See the mountains way out there. It's hard to see those on camera because they blend in with the sky. There's still snow on them too, and you got those clouds there, so. Got the little one there, Shell Hills. And like I said, there's more back over here. You just can't see them. Right now we actually have to get out in the water and you'll be able to see them. I'm going to sit down here just for a few minutes. I can actually sit here and answer questions now. Yeah, I need to go up there and get the those logs done. I really need to get this gas off this dock too. I just don't like walking up and down those steps carrying 5-gallon cans of gas. But I need to get them off here. They sit out here in the sun. You can see how the top of that one is starting to pop up and the bottom isn't sitting all the way on. It's because the cans start swelling. You can see that one really good, but all of them, the bottoms are popped up. Am I planning on exploring soon? Yeah, I want to get back here in the woods because I want to go back and see if we got any mushrooms growing back there. I love to forage for some mushrooms. We went back into Argo, we rode around a little bit, and me and Kira went back and down to a creek that runs across the back side of the property. But I don't know how, I mean, it was raging like crazy when we was back there, but that was because of all the snow runoff. So I don't know if it's a year-round creek or what. We'll see. But as warm as it is, and that water is pretty warm, might come down and do a little swimming. Kira's been wanting to come down here and go swimming again, so like I said, I really got to get this gas off here. It's just 10 5-gallon cans per drum, so that's 40. That's 20 trips up the hill carrying 2 cans at a time. I got another drum up top. I think I get it and put it on the wagon, and I can take them and empty them into it. Man, it's so nice and peaceful out here. We absolutely love it here. I mean, who wouldn't love this? Got you on pretty much private lake. Ain't nobody out here. I mean, the neighbor comes out here every once in a while, rides around on his boat, but he's the only other one out here. Like I said, lake's almost 2 miles long, so he's we're on the end of it. He's in about the middle of the lake. So, I mean, there's a couple other cabins out here, but nobody else lives out here, and they just come out for a weekend here or there. And I don't even know if they have boats or anything like that. So, because I don't think I think my neighbor said he had a dock that he was putting in. But other than that, I don't think anyone else has a dock out here. Can you build a shelter by the dock for the gas? No, I need the gas up top. I mean, I have a little building down here that we keep the generator in, and fishing gear and life jackets and all that. But no, I need all the gas up top. I keep 2 5-gallon cans down here, but I mean, that should more than last me for the entire year down here, unless I figure out a way to get that boat motor going. I put it on the other day. I thought it was an electric motor, electric start. It's not. It's the guy I bought it from and told me that the starter was messed up on it. Well, it's a pull start. The ropes broke on it, and I don't have any here. So I've got some big rope up there that I thought about unbraiding, and see if I can make one that'll go around it and see if I can get it to start. Because I want to get it going and make sure that motor is good. Plus, we'd like to take off around the lake. And then I've got to cut a trail so I can get my Argo down to the lake. Over on the other end of our property, there's a lot smaller hill that I could drive the Argo down and ride off into the lake. But we want to put it in and see how it does. We've never had it in the water, but I'll make sure to have a chain or something hooked to it and have my tractor down there just in case it starts to sink. Because with my luck, that's what happened. The other day, we were down here, and was it yesterday? No, maybe Saturday. I think it was Saturday. We was down here. Me and Kira was down here, and Letitia was up there, and no, I think it was yesterday. But anyhow, and we heard a loud noise, and I asked Kira, I was like, "What was that?" She was like, "Oh, I slammed the buckle on the dock that holds the boat." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't think so. That sounded really loud." And Letitia came down and asked me what the noise was when she came down, and she said she saw smoke coming from around the Argo. Went up there, and one of the tires exploded on the Argo. I mean, the whole tire exploded, busted down the side of it, and I thought that was kind of odd, it just sitting there. But we do have a spare tire. I just don't know how good it is. I don't have enough fuel grade hose to pump it up there. All I have is the garden hose that we use to pump our water up. So I have a fuel pump, a hand pump. I've got a crank style and a pump style that I will bring down to pump it out of the barrels into the 5-gallon cans. But I don't have any hose to pump it up the hill, and I don't know what kind of lift those things would actually pump. So, but I mean, all I gotta do, I lower the cart down like we did with all the supplies, and I'll probably haul up 2 barrels worth at a time, because I can take 1 barrel, put it on there, fill it up, and then fill up the cans and throw the empty on it and take it up top, and yeah, do it like that, and take 2 barrels worth at a time. I just don't, I'm lacking the motivation today to do it. When we go live on TikTok on Monday mornings, I always lose all motivation. Because I'm the kind of person, if I'm not out there working by I usually get up at 6, I'm out there working by 6:30. If I have to stop and come in and do the live. Now this morning I was just tired and laying around. I didn't even go outside before the live. But by the time the live's over, I feel like the whole day's wasted. And I can't get motivation to do anything. I did come out and finish the chicken coop and water the garden and done a couple other little things, but I need to either get this fuel up there or go up there and cut my logs for my post for the sawmill. I want to get that concreted in by tomorrow at least, so that I can try to get that sawmill all put together and set up this week. Feel the same way on the weekends. Yeah, and like right now, sitting here on the dock is not making me want to do anything either. I want to grab the fishing pole and be fishing, but in the middle of the day, the pike ain't really gonna bite like this. So if it was really windy, they might, but or I want to be out there swimming. But I need to be doing stuff. So I'll probably wind up going up and getting Kira and going swimming. Hold on, give me just a second, it may freeze. I need to text Letitia and tell. Sorry. I had to text Letitia real quick, tell her to rotate that sun oven. We got chicken, we put a whole chicken in it. Got it up there cooking. Yeah, I mean, the mosquitoes ain't bad down here today. They were bad down here at the dock yesterday, but I mean, I've got I got my hat and everything off, and I'm just sitting down here on the dock. So here, this way. Yeah, so they're not too bad out here on the lake. There is a little breeze blowing on the lake, so that helps with keeping the mosquitoes away. How long does sun oven take? Well, it just depends. Depends on what you're cooking, and the good thing about the sun oven is you can throw it in there first thing in the morning, and let's say like that roast. I mean, that roast probably only took about 4 hours. It's pretty much like a crock pot. You can leave it in there and it's not going to burn it. So you can leave stuff cooking in the sun oven and it's not going to burn. Now, I mean, it may be different with bread and stuff like that if you cook bread in there. But, I mean, we just usually throw it in the morning. I was late getting it in today. I didn't put it in until about 11 o'clock. So, because we didn't have any sun and we didn't know if it was going to stay cloudy or not. Yeah, that roast was amazing. That thing just melted in your mouth. And she made that flatbread, like a pita bread. And we made like gyros out of them. They were really good. That was the second time we've done that with the roast. And then when I went to town, Don and Kim gave us 2 whole chickens that they had there in the freezer. So we threw one of those in this morning. Here, see how it does. See, now I've said too long. Kira doesn't know I'm down here. If Kira knew I was down here, she would be down here in a heartbeat. I wasn't planning on staying. I was planning on coming down here and unhooking that pump and then leaving, but I figured I'd give you a lake view for a little while. Yeah, if I go back up there and she finds out I was down here, she'll fuss at me. Why didn't you take me with you? You know I wanted to go swimming. I mean, it is almost 5:30 here. I could go up and get her and come down and go swimming till dinner. And then cut my logs after dinner. Fill the bark in the morning. Get the gas off tomorrow. Like I said, no motivation. Yes. It's very, very beautiful out here. And it's so peaceful. And quiet other than the water hitting under the boats. But then again, it gives you a feeling of being on the lake. We're flying into Anchorage Thursday. Going to Denali. Oh, that's awesome. Now, where are you at now, Amy? Washington, okay. Yeah, it's beautiful out here. I mean, this morning I got up at 6 o'clock to let the dog out, and it was so foggy I could not even see the chicken coop. I mean, I couldn't see an outline of it or nothing. That's how foggy it was. And I was like, oh, it's going to be a miserable day. But then about 11 o'clock, the sun poked its head out, and we got nice Spokane. You grew up in North Pole, okay. Before your son graduates? Yeah. There's nothing like it. For people that have never been to Alaska, you just have no clue what you're missing. There is nowhere else like it. That's why they call it the last frontier. I mean, there's nowhere in the world like it. It's a world of its own. Now, I mean, the cities and stuff, especially Anchorage. Anchorage is kind of dirty and nasty. Was it cold too, or just foggy? It froze here 2 nights ago. Last part of my garden. Oh no, it wasn't cold. I mean, it was probably like 50 this morning. But then again, if you're from Alaska, you know 50 in Alaska is way different than 50 in the lower 48. I mean, I think the high today was only supposed to hit 72, and it probably feels like it's about 85 out here. I'd move back if I could, talk my hubby into it. He says, no way. Nah. I mean, y'all have winter there in Washington. It's probably colder and more miserable there. I mean, it's colder temperature-wise here, but it's just totally different cold. I mean, like I said, Letitia absolutely hates the cold. She hates the snow. She hates everything about winter. And I mean, she was miserable in North Carolina up on the mountain where we were. And we came out here, she did not complain once about the cold here. And we got hit with, I think, negative 42 was our low. Now, granted, negative 42 is cold. You stay indoors. I went outside a little bit, and you know, very short periods. But anything above like negative 15 isn't that bad at all. I mean, I was out here working in short sleeves at negative 15. And anything above 0, I always had short sleeves on. Yeah, he whines every day in the winter. Yeah, well, bring him up for a trip in the wintertime and he'll see it ain't that bad here. Just don't take him into Wasilla. My goodness, Wasilla is so windy in the wintertime. Every time I'd make a trip to town, I'd go into Wasilla, and that wind would be whipping like crazy. North Pole, Fairbanks. You have to prepare and dress for it. Yes, you do. But now that's a lot further north too. Fairbanks is a little different climate than here in Squidna. Squidna's not as bad. Like I said, it was cold, don't get me wrong. But, see, I'm not a fan of cold either. I'm that person, if my toes or my fingers get cold, I'm done. I'm doing nothing else. I'm going in, I'm warming up, and I'm done. But I would be out here for hours and hours and hours on end working in the cold, and it wasn't even that bad. Which surprised me because back home, I'd go outside for like 30 minutes and I'd be froze solid and have to come in. But then again, where we're at, we get our breeze in the summertime. We get very little wind in the winter. So that's nice. You don't have that wind chill. But it would be nice to have more wind in the wintertime too, because then we could have windmill to generate power. But I think all this, I mean, we got here in January, and I think we only had 2 windy days, maybe 3, and it wasn't super windy. I mean, it would have been enough to turn a windmill, but it wasn't like, I mean, back in North Carolina up on the mountain where we're getting 30, 40 mile an hour winds every single day in the winter. And they're absolutely miserable. So yeah, you prepare for it. And, I mean, you wear the right boots, and I found Baffin boots are absolutely amazing. I wear mine every day in the winter. They keep your feet nice and dry, and I think mine's rated for up to a negative 140 below. So I haven't had a single time where my feet got cold unless they got wet. There was a few times that I'd sink down in the snow and they would fill up with snow and then get wet. But other than that, never got cold. How do they even test boots to 140? They take them to the Arctic. Antarctica. They're called Baffins. Baffins. I think that's how you spell it. I mean, they're not much more than a good pair of boots. I think they were about $300. But me and Letitia both got a pair, and then we bought Kira another pair that was a little cheaper. They were, I think, like $140. I forget what brand they are. They're a good brand. They keep her feet warm, but she grows so quick. I wasn't buying a pair of Baffins until she stops growing. I'll buy my husband a pair so he quits whining when he has the shovel. Yeah. Oh yeah, grab a pair. I mean, that's what I wear when I ride my snow machine. So they have insulated liners in them, and then they have the reflective insulation in the bottom, and then a padding also, and then your foot goes into the insulated sock. Greetings from Germany. No, I'm asleep. Oh, sorry, Chris. I know that feeling. But yeah, I'll wear them on the snow machine when I go to town, and they're absolutely amazing. I mean, even out there, I went to town one day, it was negative 25, and the wind was blowing so hard out there. As I was driving the snow machine across, it was blowing me sideways, and I had to keep the snow machine turned to the right, and it was still blowing me left. And that's where they freight sled and everything. It was blowing me and about 3,000 pounds of freight, and with the wind chill and everything, it was negative 76, and I was good. Aria has them on sale for 115. Oh. Oh. Huh. I will have to look that up when I get back up there and off here. Because if that's the case, I may have to go ahead and buy Kira a pair for next winter and get us a backup pair. Because I think mine were $345, and they were more expensive at REI. And then I think Letitia's was $319, $315, something like that. Women's regular is $230. Yeah, I will have to check that out, because I will talk to Don and Kim and see if I can order a pair and send to their house until winter. Get all three of us a pair of those things. They're that cheap. Have to call them and see what sizes they have. I'm sure it's all the leftovers from winter. Yeah, you come up here, you have to run to REI and grab your husband a pair. He will dislike shoveling the snow a lot less. I guess I better get off the stock and get up here and do something. Or get up here and get Kira and take her swimming. Yeah, the water's not that bad at all. Probably still about 60, but it's warming up pretty quick with these warm days we've had. Hoping by the end of the day it's nice enough to where Letitia will get in. I guess I could throw her in. That seemed to work. Well, we was talking about baffing boots. By choice or by toss? Well, you know, she brought that one on herself. She tried to throw me in. So, and I don't know why she tried. So when she done it, she knew she was going in. But if it gets warm enough, she ain't even got to go in by choice. I can toss her in and then it'd be good enough she'd just stay in. She might actually come down here and get out on the float for a little bit. Yeah, Amy was doing some shopping for me. She was telling me they got baffing boots dirt cheap. So we paid over $300 for them, and she said they got them for $100 and something bucks. $115. Might have to go up here and tell Letitia about those. Might look them up real quick and then bring Kira down and do some swimming. And see if she wants to come down here early in the morning and do some fishing. She's been wanting to do fishing, but we come down here and then she wants to go swimming. If I get her out here early in the morning, she won't. Well, she probably still would want to go swimming. If I could get takeout, what would I get? I'd probably get Mexican. I love Mexican food. I mean, one reason I own a Mexican restaurant. But other than that, I don't know. It's so funny because if we're in town, living in town, I want to go out to eat every single day. I love going out to eat, but being here and having home cooked stuff is so much better. I don't even miss it at all. I do miss the fajitas. I love fajitas from the Mexican restaurant, and I cook them the exact same way I used to cook them when I owned the restaurant. They never come out the same. So Letitia's found another way that she likes them. They're good, but it's not the same. no, Kira has not caught a fish yet. That's why I want to bring her down and have her go fishing. But right now she's more interested in swimming. Because I feel bad going fishing and catching fish, but she's not very patient. So, where was your restaurant? So I owned 3 different restaurants. I had a Mexican restaurant that was on campus at Clemson University. I was right down below the football stadium. A buddy of mine, he opened a restaurant in my hometown, and then after that he opened 11 more restaurants, and I got to know him, and I was a builder, so I did the upfits on all 11 of his restaurants. And then he would hire me to do all the maintenance at his restaurant, and when the restaurant was complete, I would train his cook staff. So he kept asking me, he's like, come on, why don't you go in partners with me? Go in partners, go in partners. And I kept turning him down. I was like, nope, 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 don't want to do it. I had wanted a restaurant, but my construction company was doing too good at the time. And then I had a bad motorcycle accident, and I couldn't walk for a year and a half. And I lost my construction company, wound up divorced. I was homeless. I lived in my car for 6 months, and he called me up and he was like, hey, you want to do another upfit for me on a restaurant? And I was like, yeah. I was like, but I can't. I was still just getting back on my feet. I couldn't walk good. I was like, it's not going to be done as quick as they normally are because I'm hurting and it takes a lot more to get it done. And he was like, not a problem, come on. So I went down and looked at it, and there again, I was single, and he's showing me the restaurant, and I turn around, and there's a huge field between the stadium and the restaurant, and it was all women laying out there in bikinis. And I turned around and looked at him, and I was like, you know what, this is the one we go partners in on. So yeah, it was a good restaurant, but what they didn't tell us is when the students are not there, it's a ghost town. And the month of November and December, I had to pull about $3,000 out of my pocket just to keep the doors open. So I wound up selling my part to him, and then a month later he sold out to Corona's Mexican restaurant, and then he turned around and sold it to a place. They turned it into a wing bar, and that's when I left, and I went into Greenville, South Carolina, and opened a restaurant and a nightclub there. I too had a bad motorcycle accident. Yeah, they will mess you up. I was actually a quarter of a mile from my house, and I wanted to see how fast I could get going from where I turned on to my driveway. And I laid into it, and I took off down through there, and a dog ran out in front of me, and I hit the dog. I mean, he darted right out in front of me, and it turned my front tire, and I was going so fast, I flipped over and bent the tire and the front forks all up underneath, and I rolled up underneath the motorcycle for probably about 30 yards, and then the motorcycle come off, and I rolled, and I was busted up pretty bad. I called my wife at the time and told her I had just had an accident. Could she come help me because my leg hurt and I didn't know if I could pick the bike up. And I didn't realize how bad the bike was busted up. So I go over to the bike and I applied pressure with my right leg because my left leg was hurting, not knowing at the time my right leg was broken in 4 places. And when I stood up on my left leg, my whole left leg was shattered and it folded in like 2 different directions and I hit the ground. So then I was like, okay. So that's when I grabbed the phone, I called 911. By the time they got there, the entire road was covered in blood. I'd busted my head open. I was bleeding like crazy, had a ton of broken bones. They loaded me into the ambulance and I was going into shock, so I was freezing cold. So they were covering me up with blankets and everything, and the guy grabbed another sheet as they were sliding me in. One of the other paramedics grabbed the sheet and tossed it, and it went up completely over my head. And at that minute, my mom came by and she saw the bike, and I had a custom paint job on the bike. It was the only bike like it, so she knew it was mine. She was coming over to the house and she saw him load me in, and here I am with a blanket completely covered me, blood all over the road. She thought I was dead, and she was sitting there trying to find out what had happened, and there's like, I can't tell you nothing, we can't say nothing about what happened. And so yeah, she was all freaking out. And then when she told him she was my mom, it was like, well, he's alive, that's all we can tell you. Yeah, let's see, I broke a lot of bones. We stopped. 18-year-old didn't stop. Yeah. I had a pretty bad wreck when I was 18, also on a motorcycle. Yeah, I have issues with my knees, and I've broken my back twice. So I used to have a lot more back issues. My knees never really bothered me. I just can't run, because I've had 4 surgeries on my knee and 2 on my ankle. And when I had the surgeries on my knee, one of them, they wound up removing all the meniscus disc out of it. I have no meniscus at all in my left knee, so I can't run. I mean, I can try to race Kira, and now she can pretty much outrun me. And I used to run all the time. I used to run cross country. I would enter marathons, triathlons, all kind of stuff from the time I was in the military up until I had my accident. And I used to do all kind of martial arts. I taught martial arts for 18 years. I was actually training to do MMA. I actually had a fighting contract. I did a lot of underground fights and stuff, and I had my accident December the 20th, and I was supposed to start training January the 1st. So I lost my contract and everything. It kind of sent me into a depression, because all I'd ever done my entire life was train to fight. I boxed for 5 years on the Army team while I was in the military. I love to fight. And it kind of, I tried to get back into it, and I struggled with it, with my leg and all. So I don't do it anymore. But yeah, I don't let it stop me. That's one reason, like y'all saw the birthday video. Every year on my birthday, I do a backflip just to see if I can still do it. I mean, it may not be the prettiest thing, but as long as I can still do them, I'm going to do it. I may pay for it and hurt for the next 2 days, but if I can do it, that's good. So nice out here. I think I'm gonna walk back up the hill, see if Kira wants to go swimming. day. Give me about 4 or 5 times a day. You should write a book. I have been told that many times. If you knew everything that's happened, you would definitely say that. I have definitely had a long, hard life. I've done a lot of stupid stuff in my days. Rode with motorcycle gangs. I can't even begin to tell you all this stuff I used to do. Get in trouble with the bones. I've literally probably broken almost every bone in my body at least once. That's why I will have those days to where I sit down and I can't get up off the couch. Letitia has helped me up, especially if I'm working hard. As long as I keep working and going, I'm good. But if I sit down, I'm done. And I usually start falling asleep. I'll get up and I'll walk all hunched over through the house until I can straighten up. I never thought I would live to be this old. Never even thought I'd make it to like 25, 26 years old. I was surprised when I did. And by that time I had done broken so much stuff. I was in for a lifelong of pain. There's a zipper on the top of this hat. What is that? Oh. I didn't know that zipper was there. Unzips, let more heat out. Oh. Walk up here. See if she wants to come down and go swimming. Walk through the jungle here with all the mosquitoes. Yeah, I wish I had made it to Alaska off-grid way before all the damage was done. Life would have been so much easier. But I will tell you, doing this, it does keep you young. Definitely keeps you young. Hey, look at this. See the tire? It exploded. It's crazy. We were down there at the lake and it just exploded. Well, I'm gonna hop off here. I appreciate everybody joining, and hopefully that'll rack up another 100 or so hours. Maybe a couple hundred, who knows? Oh man, mosquitoes are horrible. I'm gonna see if Kira wants to go swimming. Yeah, y'all have a good night, and we will see y'all tomorrow. Goodbye.